X's and O's Sports Speak podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Daniels, and I finally caught up with one of the guys from my past, man. And he's still at it, man. His name is Coach Rowe. I give him so much respect. I don't even call him by his first name. This is Coach Rowe, and this dude, if you've been through the city of Tulsa or you grew up in the city of Tulsa, you're familiar with this man. I mean, this cat, he's gotten a lot of young, disenfranchised, some of the have-nots. You know, the types of kids that a lot of people are uncomfortable dealing with. He's taking these guys and he's housed them, he's clothed them, he's fed them, he put money in their pockets and put them on the basketball court and gave them an opportunity to get themselves out of some of their circumstances, man. I got a lot of respect for this brother. So, Coach Rowe, what's happening?
Chilling, man. Doing me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, we're going to jump right into it. I got me a list of things I want to run at you, but the way we vibe is whatever comes.
I'm an open book.
I already know, and you're going to be real honest with me like always. All right, now, where'd you come from, man? I never knew where it started for Coach Rowe, man. Where you from?
Well, I'm born and bred, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Finished high school in Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Went to college at Southwestern Christian College in Terrell, Texas.
Down there.
Left there, went to Northeastern Christian College in Villanova, Pennsylvania. And after college, I've just been all over this United States. Literally all over the United States.
All over, huh?
Yes.
Now, do you have any siblings or is it just you coming up?
Well, I have 3 sisters.
Right.
And I had 3 brothers. One died as an infant. One of my brothers was murdered in 2010, and then I have another brother. He's in Houston right now.
Okay. Man, that's a tough go right there, man. I only got one sibling. I'm going to try to hold on to him, man.
Yeah.
Now,
do that.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to your sports background, man, when did you find sports, man? What was the first sport that you started playing or got involved with?
Probably the first one I took seriously was football.
Okay.
I was a running back. Actually, I started out as a quarterback, but when they called pass plays, if you took too long getting open, I didn't like getting hit. I'd just take off running.
Just take off scrambling on.
So since I ran the ball so much, they moved me to running back.
All right.
My next love was wrestling. I was pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Lost to Kenny Mundy, for those who know who he is, but it ain't no shame in losing to Kenny Mundy because everybody he wrestled lost to him.
There you go.
Everybody.
He was just one of them dudes, huh?
Man. Let me see. Basketball kind of came into my life around 5th grade when I moved to Bartlesville. I lived on the west side of Bartlesville is where most of the black people lived, and a lot of them didn't really play football. Even though I played football, they didn't play football. Right. So I had to pick up a basketball and learn how to play basketball, which anything I've ever done, I've always been good at it. I've never been just one of the people on the team. I was always one of the people on the team.
Had to be one of them guys.
Yeah, because everything's competitive to me.
Yes, yeah, and I feel like we've lost some of that competitive nature in today's society for different reasons, but we're going to get into that a little later. Okay, so was it instant whenever you started playing basketball? Did you know, oh yeah, this is where it's at for me? Or did you continue with the other sports through middle school and high school?
I always played everything.
Okay.
I did things that they didn't even think black people did. I was on a swim team, wrestling team, track team, football, basketball. I wanted to golf, but back then, it was worse than today. If you was black, you couldn't even go to the country club, and that's where all the tournaments were. So I wasn't allowed to golf.
Right.
But I was pretty good at it.
Oh yeah. So I'm guessing since you know you're pretty good at it, that means you did get some time to actually pick up a club and go play something.
Oh yeah, I go to hitting ranges and stuff like that and hit the ball and things like that. But there was absolutely no opportunity to play. I'm shocked that Tiger Woods was able to do the things he did because although he came behind me, he wasn't. I don't think he's that far behind me that things had changed that much. But then again, me and Tiger's different. He calls himself a cobbling Asian. I'm straight up black.
Straight up black, huh? No questions asked.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, take me through your high school days. How were they, man? How was high school like? Did I understand you right when you said you went to high school in Bartlesville?
I finished high school in Bartlesville.
Okay. Relocated.
I actually started high school at Mason High School, which when it was a Tulsa public school at the time. A lot of people don't know that because Mason got closed as a school, even though we was probably one of the top schools in Tulsa. And when Mason closed, I went to McLean, but I only went to McLean for about 2 weeks.
Right.
And if allowed, I'll tell you why.
Yeah, go ahead.
You want me to tell you?
Hey, go on, spill it, man.
I went to
I'm all
McLean for about 2 weeks, and I literally watched the kid beat up a teacher, drag him down the stairs, drag him to the door, let go of the teacher at the door, walked on out to school. Came back to school this kid came back to school the next day, and he didn't get suspended or nothing. And in my mind, I'm like, if they'll let him do that to a teacher, I don't stand no chance. So I was like, this is not the spot for me.
You saw the handwriting on the wall. Huh?
I was always into grades. Everything was competitive to me, so I try to be the best student. You know, whatever it was that I could make a contest out of. I wanted better grades than everybody had. And McLean at the time, it just wasn't what I was looking for. So from there, I went to East Central.
Right.
I went to East Central probably for a semester. It was cool and all, but I was literally on my own at this time. I had already moved out of my parents' house, and it was kind of hard getting back and forth to East Central. So I just moved to Parsons, Kansas, and went to Parsons High School. I was living with my grandfather, and then when I was at the end of my junior year, I personally moved myself back to Bartlesville because I believe to this day, had I not left Bartlesville once I moved there, because I was BMOC in Bartlesville. I was a big man on campus because when I say I could run a football, I ran the football.
Right.
And I started on the basketball team, but so I wanted to go back to Bartlesville. I have some true friends that's like family in Bartlesville in the short period of time I was there.
Right.
So, but school was always important. And I tell you that I left home at 14, still graduated. When I was a senior, all I did was sports, whichever season it was, work, go to church, go to school. That was my regiment. That's all I did.
Man.
I could have had any females that wanted to come hang out at my crib there if I wanted to, but I was focused on the things that I had to do to get to where I was trying to go. So
it sounds like number one, obviously you were a little bit of a journeyman. You moving around quite a bit,
without doubt.
But it also seems like maybe because of that, you had to grow up a little faster than a normal kid your age.
A lot faster.
Man, what if you don't mind me going there, you can stop me at any point.
You can go anywhere you want.
All right. Well, what caused you to move around so much? Were these just your decisions? Like, I don't like here, I'm going somewhere else, or was it some other circumstances?
I felt like, I had a good home. I don't want to make it seem like my home was rotten or anything like that, but at the time it was 6 of us at home, 6 kids. My mom was a single mama. She did end up getting married again or whatever, but I felt like it was trying to take care of all of us was a big burden on her, and I decided that, I'm ready. I'm ready to take on the world. So she didn't just wake up one morning and I was gone. I discussed it with my mother, and she said, if that's what you want to do, you can do that. So I left home. And
At 14, huh?
At 14.
Man, did you have a plan, or did you said first plan of action is I'm gonna walk right out of this house and then figure it out?
My plan was to just, it's a little different today than it was back then because, as you well know, because your father's a little bit older than I am, parents was real parents, and they taught us things that we needed to know to survive in life and everything. And I was always, in my mind, ahead of the curve, where a lot of people, you'd be trying to teach them something, but they're not trying to grab hold to it. But I was like a sponge. I soaked up everything. When I left home, I could cook.
There you go.
I could drive at 14. I felt like my mama had prepared me already at the age of 14. So since I thought I could, she let me. Now, I won't lie to you. It was kind of rough, but since it was my decision to leave and I had a lot of pride, I couldn't let myself fail.
Yeah.
I couldn't go back home and say, not that I couldn't go back home, I would not allow myself to go back home and say, I need to move back in or anything like that, because I didn't realize it then, but as a grown-up, I realized how hard it must have been for my mother to let me go in the first place. And I had to prove to her and the world how good a job she had done preparing me to take on life. And so that was 14, now I'm 55, so
There you go.
she did a pretty good job.
Now, what was one of those first, if you can think back to it, the first experience that you ran into once you left the nest to where life just smacked you, to where you're like, whoa, this is really real out here, and where you had to kind of, I guess, maneuver a little bit differently than you ever had before? Can you remember one of the moments where you're like, yo, this is grown life for real?
Probably paying rent.
Oh, yeah?
But I was blessed that I always went to church, and I had a lot of people in the church that, you know, they reached out, they helped me, they knew my struggles and stuff like that. But just a quick story is, we'll probably hit this harder later on because I know you got some serious questions for me. But
for sure.
a lot of us grow up without a father. You're blessed because you have both of your parents.
Without a doubt.
I actually knew my dad. He lived in Bartlesville, in fact.
Okay.
But he actually lived, at one point, he lived 3 houses up the street from us. When I was still at home, he lived 3 houses up the street.
And this was when you were still in Tulsa?
No, I was in Bartlesville.
In Bartlesville, okay.
It's like 7th grade. I was still at home. My mother was living in Bartlesville at the time.
Right.
And even though he lived 3 houses up the street, I wasn't allowed to go to his house. Cause
Mom said no?
No, his wife said no. Because he had gotten married and
Gotcha.
she didn't want to recognize me as one of his kids.
I feel it.
So, but I didn't let that deter me. When I was a senior, when I started paying rent and all of that, you know, it was like one time I needed $50 to pay my rent because I was focused and I wanted to pay my rent on time like I'd always done. And I went to my father and I asked him, this is when reality of the world, not just being an adult, but the reality of the world hit me, is I went to my father and I asked him, could I have $50? I never asked this man for nothing my whole life.
Right.
And he didn't work on a garbage truck. He literally owned the garbage company that picked up trash all over Bartlesville.
Right.
And when I asked him for those $50, he told me, I can't do it. He said, I can give you $50, but you got to work on my truck. I said, I got to go to school. He said, well, you got a choice. You can work on my truck today or your rent's going to be late. Because I had a job.
Right.
But I went ahead and stayed out of school that day, worked on his garbage truck.
Okay, so it was just for one day. At first, I thought he was
One
trying to
day.
steal you from the other
No,
job.
no,
So
no,
you
no.
got work.
One day.
Okay.
One day.
All right. Seems doable.
And I went ahead and stayed. I didn't appreciate him doing that because he hadn't really been a father to me my whole life. And for me to only ask for $50 one time, I'm thinking this shouldn't be no problem because garbage man or not, he was probably one of the richest black people in Bartlesville. He's the first black man I seen that owned a Cadillac. Eldorado, long Cadillac. And he had like 3 or 4 Cadillacs.
Ooh.
And he owned all his garbage trucks.
Oh, yeah, so he had a business.
He had money. And I stayed out of school and worked on that truck that day. And he picked up not just trash, but garbage. And when I say garbage, I mean like restaurant garbage, where they throwing food in there, and you have to jump down in the dumpster and shovel it out. When you get to the bottom, it's nasty.
You had to get your hands dirty for real.
Worked all day that day, from 5 in the morning to 5:30 that evening, and at the end of the evening, my father, I love him. He died a few years back, but I love him to this day because he taught me a major lesson that day. At the end of the day, he did not give me $50.
Man.
He gave me $20 and a bag of aluminum cans. And it hurt my feelings.
Man,
but
that would have killed me, man. I can't front.
It also let me know that this is the real world out here. So I threw those cans at him and told him I ain't got no daddy.
You take that 20 though?
Oh, I kept the 20.
Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, I kept the 20. And I'm pretty sure I went back and got them cans.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta swallow that pride.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this on a note, man. This is definitely off script, man. I just always wonder this because I guess you could say I've been blessed enough to not have. I've gone through my storm. We all go through our struggles and stuff like that. Maybe not to the same degree as you and some other people, but I think sometimes it's difficult to go through different things like that, dealing with certain types of people, but still stay who you are. Because sometimes I think some people should feel the way that they make other people feel, and then maybe they'll understand that they need to make some changes. Although, I'm not God, so it's not up to me to decide who deserves what. But it's hard to keep my own character when you got all this foul play going around you sometimes. What would you say to that, man, coming up the way you came up?
I would, me being me, I use things as a springboard to push me harder. Whereas if I was to compare me and my hard times coming up through life to the cats that's living younger now, instead of me using it as a crutch and as an excuse to not succeed, I use it as a reason to succeed.
Right.
Just to show them that there ain't nothing you can do to stop me,
Right.
And like you said earlier, my basketball program was built on picking cats up that they didn't really, some of them had fathers and mothers, some of them didn't, some of them lived with their grandparents.
Right.
But I kind of gravitated to those that I felt needed some positivity in their life in order to keep them from going to the dark side.
Yeah.
Or slow their roll as far as going to the dark side, because I'm here to tell you can't save everybody. Mm-hmm. You can only save those who want to be saved.
No question.
So my relationship with my father, it did two things for me. It pushed me to be a better me, and it made me want to be the best father that I could possibly be to mine.
There you go.
And I said I'm an open book, and I'm about to tell you something you don't even know about me.
You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna lie, the more people I talk to about you, the more I hear stuff I ain't know.
Well, you definitely ain't know this.
Okay, bring it.
I'm not bragging, because what's done is done. This is fact. It's written down. I literally have 9 kids by 8 women.
Really?
You didn't know that.
I didn't know that. And you know what? Because the next question was going to be, is it just Dominique? Because that's the only one of your children that I know.
No, it's not just Dominique. I married Dominique's mother, and we was married until she passed.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not just Dominique. It's just that I got 9 kids by 8 women, and literally they are coast to coast.
Everywhere.
I have a son in California. I got a son in Texas. I got a daughter in Florida. I have a son in West Virginia. His twin brother moved here. So he's in Tulsa now. I have 2 daughters here. And I have one daughter that literally, she's 31 years old. And I still haven't physically met her, but we just talked for the first time last year, 2017.
Man.
But I did not know about her,
right,
because her mother had adopted her out as soon as she was born. Nobody ever told me anything. And when my daughter got old enough, well, she was more than old enough, but she unsealed. She had her records unsealed so that she could find out who her real parents were.
Got you.
And she called me and said I was her daddy, and all I could say was, "Can't wait to meet you."
Yeah, you didn't even fight.
Right? Why would I?
Right.
I love being a parent, man. I cannot lie. In the beginning, as a parent, I was stick and move. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean,
I wasn't getting girls pregnant and running away from my responsibilities, because most of the time I find out later that they was pregnant.
There you go.
But once I was able to contact the kid, like my son in Texas, all my kids love me. Even him, he loves me. But when I met him, he was 28. And no, he was getting ready to turn 28. It was like just a few days, like 6 days before his 28th birthday. And
man, he's good and grown.
yeah, he is. And he, out of all of them, he looks. If I showed you a picture right now of him, you would think it was a younger me.
Oh, so you marked him good then.
Yeah, but he looks more like me than any other kid I have.
Right.
And but he's one that when I got in contact with him, I told him I can't do anything about the past, but I can be the best father I can be from this point on,
Right.
But I leave the ball in his court to deal with it how he wants to deal with it. And we have met, we've hung out a few times, but I guess he decided, he went this long without me, he can finish his journey without me.
Right.
But if he ever comes to me, I'm going to always be here as best I can.
Right.
So, no, it's definitely not just Dominique.
Man.
But people know Dominique the best because Dominique is who they saw.
Yeah. Is he the only one of the 8 that you raised?
No. I raised my daughter Raven. I tried to be a part of my daughter Melissa's life. She lives here in Tulsa too. And Melissa is kind of a touchy situation because I'm being as open, as honest as possible. And the reason I say these things is because you never know what the next person's going through.
True.
And maybe something I say can help somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I was in college. Melissa's mother got pregnant. And the first 2 years of her life, I was there, And but I was still going to college, too. I'd come home, see my daughter. One time I came home, and her mama stepped outside the door, and I said, "Can I see my daughter?" And she said, "I'll let you see her, but I need you to tell her that you're her uncle, not her daddy." Because her mama had got into a relationship with another guy, and she was letting Melissa call him daddy. Which I don't have a real problem with that, other than the fact that I can't tell her I'm her uncle, because she been calling me daddy for 2+ years.
Man,
and since I wouldn't do that, she wouldn't let me see my daughter. Man. There's a story behind each and every one of them as to why I wasn't there like I now know as an adult, as a true adult, because I was still kind of a kid,
Yeah.
But
do you remember how old you were whenever the first one was conceived or born?
Ooh,
you know what
Lord,
I mean?
I'm about to throw you for a loop now.
Oh snap, man! I got to get on the ropes then.
In the year 1984, dude, I had 3 daughters.
3 daughters.
I had 3 daughters
born in
one calendar year.
Well, you was a wild dude, man.
One in April.
Man.
They was all 4 months apart. One in April, one in August, one in December.
Man.
1984. It was a good year.
Oh man. Okay, now when did you find out about those 3? Then you couldn't have known. Well, maybe you did know during that year. Oh snap! I got 3 of them in the oven.
I'll give you a rundown on each one of them if you got time.
Man, listen, I got time. I'm here
Okay.
listening. We ain't even touched sports yet. You know
My
what I mean?
oldest,
right?
Raven.
Okay.
Her mother was kind of younger. I did not know it because she was everywhere I was.
All
you
right.
know, I go to the club, she at the club.
Yeah.
I'm at church in the adult choir, she in the adult choir. But I was like 20. She was 16. I didn't know. nobody walks up to a female and ask them how old they are. If they were, I am. If you're in a club, surely you club age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to put an asterisk next to that these days.
That's
right?
how I thought back then.
Yeah.
I don't think that way now.
Oh, no.
I don't think that way now. Because I now understand when they say girls mature way faster than guys. Body-wise as well,
That's
you know.
True. That's true. Very true.
I came home from school and I went to the hospital somebody told me I was having a kid. I didn't know.
So it was just on hearsay you went.
Yeah, but when I found out, I came home from school in Texas, and I literally, the day I got here was the day her mama was having the baby. And I went to the hospital and her mama's, Raven's grandfather and his two brothers met me at the door of the hospital because I had called and said I was coming. And when I got to the door, they said, if you come through that door, we're going to kill you.
This at the hospital?
At the hospital.
Ooh-wee,
and I put up a little bit of a argument with them or whatever, but they made me believe them.
Okay.
So I turned around and started stepping.
I get it.
I might have fought one, but as tough as I think I am and know I was,
right,
I can't whoop three people.
I got you.
And they was
know when to hold them.
They was all bigger than me.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta, swallow their pride and go ahead and step. Huh?
It'll actually blow people's mind when they hear this. If they saw me, I'm nothing like the person they gonna imagine when they hear my voice.
Right,
as you well know.
Yeah. He sound like this big, huge dude.
Yeah,
because he got the Barry White,
yeah,
Billy D. Williams type voice. Man, that's a journey right there.
But that's why I didn't stick with Ravens' mom. I wanted to do the right thing, but I wasn't allowed. The second one is the one that I met at the door, and her mama told me that I can't be her daddy. I have to be her uncle. I wasn't willing to do that. The third one is really crazy. I had actually got with her mama at college. It's crazy. I believe it with all my heart. She literally got pregnant at Elvis Presley's house. Because
hold on, please break it down.
I'm going to elaborate.
All right.
When I was in college, I traveled around singing a lot, and the chorus was traveling around, and we was in Memphis at the time, and everybody wanted to go in. One of the places we stopped at, while we wasn't singing, they took everybody on the bus to Elvis Presley's house. I had no desire to see Elvis Presley's house.
I got you.
So the bus was parked on his property, though, next to his airplane. If you ever been to his house, he has an airplane sitting out in front of it. And me and her stayed on the bus.
Yeah. The rest is history. Huh?
The rest is history.
Man, look here. Man, this dude right here is historic, Coach Rowe.
It is what it is. I sometimes mentally, I look back at myself and I'm be like, I don't want to say I was totally irresponsible, but I was totally irresponsible because I wasn't trying to show no responsibility. I was just living.
Yeah.
And through me just living, kind of like these young people are doing today, but not exactly like them because I did have things I wanted to do. I believed in tomorrow,
Right.
But the kids I had, I didn't know about majority of them until they were in the world.
Right.
My second oldest son, my first oldest son, me and his mama got together. I was in Abilene, Texas. I didn't know she was pregnant, and I moved from Abilene. Actually, between going to Southwestern and going to Northeastern, I lived in Abilene for a little bit over the summer, and she was there, and we kicked it. But then I left and went to Northeastern and found out years later that I had a son. That's the one that we tolerate each other, but he don't really call me too much. I send him messages on Facebook and stuff, just let him know that I'll never forget about him.
Yeah,
you know.
that you're thinking about and all that.
But then my second son, he's the one in California. In fact, he's Melvin Elliotte Rowe Jr. I was there for him to be born, and
You were there when he came in the world, huh?
yes,
Okay.
and I really thought me and his mama was gonna, she was gonna be the one that I was finally gonna settle down, quit, being me on that level. But one day I went to work, came home. Her sister, his mother's sister, was in the house with her boyfriend. Now I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Growing up in Tulsa, you have some crazy people, that everybody does. But as far as Bloods and Crips and gangs and stuff like that, we didn't have that. We didn't have that here.
Right.
It was all TV to me.
Yeah.
Until this day. When my son was born, I'm trying to do the right thing. I come home. My son's mother's sister and her boyfriend is sitting on the couch. And like I said, I'm just real about it. They was cutting up crack.
Man.
And up to that moment, I'd heard crack. I'd never seen crack.
Right. It was just TV.
But I knew what it was when I seen what they was doing. I was like, you can't do that here. And she was like, I can do whatever I want. This is my sister's house. I said, well, you ain't going to do it here because this is our house.
Right.
I said, I pay as much bills as she pay. And, of course, her boyfriend tried to stand up and defend his girl or whatever, trying to tell me we're going to do whatever we want here. I said, no, you're not. So he thought he wanted to fight until we started fighting.
Oh, yeah, y'all started rumbling, huh?
And then I had to put him in his place.
Right.
And they left. When they left, I walked down the street to the store.
Hold on. What happened to the crack, though, man? Did you throw
it
that
went
out
with them?
Okay,
it went with them. We're not going to have that.
Don't be no sucker
We're
now.
not going to have that.
All right.
So, but I'm thinking, it's over.
Yeah.
So I walked down. I had a car, but, it's California. It's sunny outside. Everything good. I walked down to the store about a quarter mile from the apartments. I walked down to the store. I go in the store, bought what I was going to buy, and as I'm coming out the door, it's like a movie, man. I see this truck full of black dudes. I'm not going to use the word I was normally use out of respect for your show.
Oh, well, I definitely appreciate
But
that.
it's full of black dudes, and they all got on red. They hanging over the side, beating on the side of the truck and everything. It's like, I'm going to say it's a good 15 dudes in this truck.
Now, is this broad daylight we talking about?
Yeah, it's broad daylight.
That's the image I got in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
If you ever seen the movie Warriors, where the dudes say Warriors come out and play, I'm about to come out the store. They drive up in the parking lot and they jump out the truck and they rush the door. I'm coming out the door. They rushing the door. I step back in the store, and back then there was a lock in the middle of the door. If you was inside, you could turn that lock and lock that door.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I turned that lock and I turned around to the man and I said, "Call 911." Because they was coming to get me. Only because I put him out of my house.
Yeah. Well, you didn't just put him out. You beat him up first.
Well, he only got beat up because he wanted to tell me what he was going to do in my house.
Yeah.
So
Can't go down like that.
The man in the store, he was Iranian, and he said, "You will have to open the door."
Oh, man.
I said,
"Do you see what's outside?"
"I'm going to beat your ass before you can unlock this door." I said, "I'd rather fight you than all of them."
Hey,
I said, "Now call 911." But luckily, he wasn't going to call 911. It's like he wanted to see me get jumped.
Oh, man.
But I wasn't going to let him open that door.
No.
And the police kind of pulled up, and those dudes got in the truck and bounced.
Scared him
I
off.
probably stayed in the store about 30 more minutes. Walked home.
There you go.
Told my girl.
How long was that walk?
Quarter mile.
No. But how long in your mind? 'Cause I know you
Oh,
got
I'm
your head
looking
on the swivel
around.
like
I'm
that.
looking around. I'm looking around. I'm
Right.
a point guard by nature, you know what I'm
Okay, there you
saying?
go. So
I see in everything.
Right,
Peripherals is on fleek, you know.
On point. And you get to the crib. I know you had to have a conversation with Babe when you got
we had
home.
a conversation. I was like, "We gotta go." She's like, "What you mean?" I said, "They trying to kill me." She said, well, I'm from California. I ain't going nowhere. So my next jump was to Arizona. It's the next state over. My homeboy from college lived in Arizona. And
how you keeping in touch with these people, man? Because this is before the cell phone era, right?
Yeah. Oh,
man,
yeah.
I've always
it's before pages, bro.
Yeah. Now I'm really lost. And I've always wondered, okay, now how was the communication before the era we're in now? Now I was alive, obviously, a little bit before the cell phones were really popping, but there was always the pager. It was some secondary source of communication. Man, how you doing it at that time?
Landlines.
You just had some numbers memorized, had the black book with the numbers written down. What?
Yeah. You know, my real close friends, you know, you remember them numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we used to. Now you just pull their name up and hit their name and it start dialing.
Every now and then I test myself though, because I got at least about 20 numbers I still remember in the brain.
Don't.
You don't?
The only number I know by heart is Dominique's.
Well,
Dominique's and mine's. Those are the only numbers. I don't even know my daughter's number. My daughter that's right here, that we together all the time. I don't know her number by heart. I know Dominique's number by heart though.
Whoa, that against you,
it's not that he's more important than they are. His number was just etched in my brain, you know. Mm-hmm. But I moved to Arizona. Actually, before I went to Arizona, I went to West Virginia. I was headed to New York to visit my best friend from college in Texas.
Right.
And I stopped in West Virginia.
Okay.
Which is where I met Dominique's mama. Mm-hmm. But after I met her, I had to come back to California because I did know I was having a son in California, so I came back to California.
Did you come back just to pass?
I came back to try to be the father for my son.
Okay.
But that got put kind of on hold because of her sister and her boyfriend.
Right.
So then I moved to Arizona. Actually, I went back to West Virginia.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know nobody in West Virginia.
True.
And I came back to Arizona, and I asked Dominique's mama to come to Arizona. She said, I'm not coming to Arizona. We're not married.
Right.
You haven't asked me to marry you, nothing like that.
Right. Didn't show no promise.
Right. To her, it didn't.
I got you.
Now, here's where it's going to get crazier.
Crazier, huh?
The other person I knew in West Virginia was my twins' mother. They're actually the last children that I had.
Dominique, and then the twins after him? Or?
Yeah, I thought Dominique was it. But although I was married, we ended up moving back. Dominique was born in Arizona. But after a while, we left Arizona. We ended up back in West Virginia because that's where his mother was from.
Right.
And by the time we moved back to West Virginia, though, we was married.
I got you.
And the thing about that is, I really didn't have no plans on getting married. But I came to her one day and I said, I'm going to kick it with this other female. And she said, well, that's okay, but I want to take my son and go back to West Virginia. And I was like, can't let you do that. Because Dominique, the one thing about Dominique is his existence caused me to really bear down and focus on being a father. And I said the day he was born, and I said it several times in between that no matter what happens, I won't never leave you before you 18. So that's where I learned how to sacrifice me, that the world wasn't just about me no more. So
now, let me ask you personal question. Why did it take so long? Was it something that you saw in him that made him different, or was it just like, all right, enough is enough?
No, enough was enough. Once I found out I had all these kids, I tried to stop at little Elliotte, because, everybody called me Elliotte. That's my middle name.
Right.
Or Coach Rowe. A lot of people don't know I got a name other than Coach Rowe.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't learn your first name until maybe about 2 years ago.
Right.
And I had to ask somebody. I was like, man, what is Coach Rowe?
And Elliotte ain't my first name.
No.
It's my middle name.
Yeah, they told me Melvin, and I saw Elliotte on Facebook. I said, it must be the middle name.
A lot of people get confused when they see Elliotte, but they see my picture. But my name's Melvin Elliotte. There's a story behind that.
Yeah.
But I'm not hiding from nobody.
I got you.
But
the storyteller.
I wanted to see what it was like to really sit still and be a father.
Right.
When Dominique came along. But the fact that Dominique did come along and he caused me to focus more, his existence actually caused me to reach out and be the best father I could to the ones that wasn't with me. And those that want to come around me, they come around me and we have a good time and everything like that. They need help and I can help them. I'm going to help them. Even if you're not around me, if I can help, I'm going to help them. You know, for yourself, I did it for so many kids that weren't mine.
Absolutely.
I started asking myself, if I can do this for kids that's not mine, why am I not doing more for my own?
There you go.
So that's what caused me to reach out, seek, and find my own kids and start, doing right by them.
That's a real man move, man.
So
that's self-check right there.
It was a major self-check. So, but
throughout
then,
all of that,
yeah,
how'd you get back to the town? How'd you get back to Tulsa?
we moved from Phoenix to Dayton. I transferred on my job. My wife, she worked for Cox Cable, but she wasn't able to. They didn't have Cox in Dayton.
Right.
So it was Christmas, they went down to West Virginia, which is the next state down from Ohio. And she called me over the phone and said, pack everything, we moving back here to West Virginia. And I moved to West Virginia, but they didn't have Cox Cable. And my wife, she got a little piece of job, but it was, I don't think anything legal is beneath a person, but when you have been on this level for so long, you feel like, sometimes you might feel like less of a person if you take some menial, know-nothing job. I knew she wasn't happy. And I was actually headed from West Virginia back to Arizona to play in the 3-on-3 contest because me and my partners out there, we traveled everywhere playing 3-on-3 basketball.
Oh, okay.
So I had left her and Dominique in West Virginia, headed to Arizona. And when I got here to Oklahoma, which is like halfway between West Virginia and Oklahoma, West Virginia, Arizona, my mama told me, she said, Raven's around the corner. Raven is my oldest daughter. I hadn't seen her in a while. So instead of going on to Arizona, I found Raven and we hung out all week long. And at the end of that week, I called my wife in West Virginia. I said, when I get back there, we're going to pack up, we're going to move here. I said, they have Cox Cable, and you'll be able to, get back on the level you was on. She didn't have a problem with it because West Virginia's a nice place, but it's nothing there, bro. There's nothing there. And so she didn't have no problem moving here.
Right.
And that was in 1996. And that's when we moved back to Tulsa, and everything just started growing from there.
Yeah.
Which it allowed me to be closer to my children. But in the process came the twins, because I had got
in West Virginia,
another female pregnant.
Right.
And I knew she was pregnant. When I found out she was pregnant, I went to my wife and I said, Joyce is pregnant. I don't know if it's mine or not. I'm just letting you know that she's pregnant. It's a possibility. She didn't leave me. My wife didn't leave me. In fact, in a way, it made us stronger that I was straight up forward, honest about it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't leave West Virginia to get away from that responsibility. I left West Virginia because it wasn't a place that you could grow. Mm-hmm. You life would become stagnant there because there's really not much there. So we came here, and Dominique had been playing basketball since he was 4 years old.
Yeah.
Because I love basketball, That's the one thing that you can do no matter what sport you play.
Right.
When you finish high school, as long as you're healthy enough, you don't need to go get a bunch of gloves. You don't need to get helmets and pads. All you need is a ball and a goal, and you can continue to play.
Playing, even just for fun.
Right. So I dove deep into basketball, and I wanted to give my son something that I had never been given, and that's what I would say is the proper tutelage about the game. Mm. So at an early age, his basketball IQ was higher than the average basketball IQ, but I understood that it was because of the effort that I was putting into him.
Right.
Now, I don't want to take the credit for the person he became as far as basketball goes, because for a little midget dude, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty tough. And at some point, you got to jump. The kid got to jump in the driver's seat and take the wheel.
And he did. He did. So, I don't know.
Now, I can remember this. I can remember whenever I first started playing AAU basketball for the Tulsa Titans, all right? And y'all were around at that time. I'm not sure if y'all's organization started at the same time as ours, but the first year that I remember us getting started was in the fall or the winter of '99. So it was that '99-2000 school year. All right, man. There were only 3 teams in Tulsa at that time. Now, some other people, if I'm wrong, please hit me with a comment and correct me. But I know about the Tulsa Bulldogs.
Right.
I knew about y'all, the Supreme Court Soldiers.
Yes, sir.
And then the Tulsa Titans was the team that I played on. And I remember...
You can't leave the Jammers out.
What, did the Jammers have one in our age group at that time?
Well...
Because we were 5th graders.
I'm not sure what Buck's team... Yeah, they had... Buck had a team, I just don't remember if it was the Mustangs or I believe they was always the Jammers when he coached them, but they came out of the North maybe.
Right, yeah. I remember those teams. I just always thought that they were a little younger than us, but I could be wrong about
They
that.
were. He had teams before us. He had teams after us.
Gotcha.
And actually, he had younger team, but he would try to play them up with us in order to be in tournaments. They had to play up.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a good look for him.
I see. So sometimes you got to learn hard.
We did.
Now, I can remember, my coaches at the time, Lester Johnson, the late great.
Yes.
Yeah, man, and that was he really gave me some perspective on the game that I had never had.
I had a lot of respect for Lester.
Absolutely. And then Derek Lewis Sr., yes sir, and then Mike Gillum. It was all of them. They put this organization together, and our team kind of looked like y'all's team as far as the demographic of kids that we had, and having watched you operate for years and being under my coach's tutelage for years, I could tell that you all did it for the same reasons. What in the world made you want to start that team, man? And what kept you going throughout all the way to today? Because you're still doing it, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm doing it, and I'm still one of the best teams around.
Yeah, man.
I really am. In fact, I can remember back in the day when I first started the Soldiers. I can't lie. I started the Soldiers for selfish reasons.
All right.
I wanted to coach my own son.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So
I see that every day.
It's easy to do. The easiest way to do it is go get some cats that ain't doing nothing and say, "Hey, want to take some trips? Want to play some ball?" Everybody like basketball,
Right.
but everybody wasn't getting the opportunity to move around and go places and play. They play in the boys club league or something like the Y or something like that, but they wasn't getting a true opportunity to get out there and see what else is out there.
Outside of the hometown.
I started the Soldiers, and I can remember when we first started, the Titans stand out in my mind because when I first started, y'all was smashing us. Y'all was smashing us.
I don't know if we smashed y'all early on.
I'm telling you.
I thought the first matchup, man, it was like nip and tuck. We played so many times.
When we first started, we was getting smashed.
Okay.
Because the reason being was I never had the same people.
From tournament to tournament.
I had through that whole era, I had 4 players.
You talking about your core?
I had 4 players that I knew was gonna be there every tournament.
Right.
That was Dominique, Alex Cherry, Billy Ray,
right,
and Wante. And truth be told, Wante was with y'all when I first started. Wante was with y'all, and he came over. Billy Ray was with y'all.
You know what?
And then they came over to me.
You're right. They came through the program. It was brief though.
Yeah.
But they did come.
Yeah,
through.
they wasn't with y'all that long, but they actually got their feet wet with y'all, and then they came over to me. But I think the
Jerry
reason
did too. I don't know if you remember that.
Who was that?
Alex.
See, I didn't know he was a Titan.
Yeah. Now I'm not sure if he ever got to play in a game or a tournament with us, but there was a stretch where he was coming to the practices and and looking like he was in. I don't ever know what happened with that, but I just remember that era.
Well, one thing about me and my coaching, even for my own son, I always told him if we're not playing and somebody else want to use you, for the weekend, then feel free. Go play with them, I had a rule, and it's still my rule to this very day. You can play for the Soldiers, you're a soldier. If the Soldiers ain't playing and the Titans want you to go, because, y'all had money. I didn't have money. Everything, even to this day, I do it out of my pocket.
Right. Well, now let me set you straight on something, because we never had them sponsorships like them other.
No, but you had
active parents, which you never had.
Never.
I mean,
still don't.
And I always,
as far as
that.
the black kids go, I still
right.
don't.
And as far as that was always the majority of the kids on your team. Like you had a lot of the blacks. A lot of when I say blacks, it sounds like some prehistoric stuff.
It
a
is
lot
what
of black
it is.
kids, you know what I mean? Yeah, you had a lot of them that came from some really tough circumstances.
Yes,
and saying like
yes.
you put them dudes on your shoulders, and like in our program, we had predominantly black kids too, but their parents were more involved.
Not just the parents, just the parents, but Derek had a job.
Yeah, he did.
Lester had a job. Mike had a job.
Yep.
I was job to job. I was moving around trying to find a job, you know what I'm saying? Or if I had a job, I wouldn't take a job that would not allow me to do the basketball aspect.
There you go. Even though you weren't making no money doing basketball.
I was spending money.
Yeah, straight out of your heart.
Spending money. And but it's what I felt like I needed to do in order to help my son grow.
Right.
And through the other cats, they got my tutelage because Dominique can't play a game by himself. He needs some people around him. So these other cats came in, they stuck. We got pretty good. I love the fact that it's a lot of cats from y'all's era that when they see me, they run up, they hug me, you know, they always tell me how much they appreciate me and things like that. And I think the difference between me and the coaches y'all had is when Derek's son got done playing, Derek was done coaching. I don't think Mike ever had a son on the team that I knew of, but when the Titans that you were quit being Titans, they quit coaching. Now Lester kept coaching for hell, but he didn't keep coaching the Titans.
Right.
So
I can remember the time because Lester was the founder, and he coached us. He coached us full time, all the way up until I think maybe we were seventh graders, and then from that point, I think that's when he had some other things going on to where he kind of stepped away from it, and I'm not sure if it was officially or unofficially turned the reins over to Derek Lewis and Mike Gillum. And if we were seventh graders, that would have been the 2001-2002 school year. But as far as Big Derek Lewis, after we graduated, after the original Titans class of 07 team graduated, he stuck around. He continued to coach DJ Mahone and that group of Titans, and I think they graduated in like 2010 or something like that.
He helped with them.
Yeah.
But
I'm not
wasn't
sure if
the
he
main.
had them. I'm not
he
sure if
wasn't
he
the
had
main
them or
coach.
not. Yeah, and then now he's just enjoying life, man. He retired. He cooling.
Crazy part about that is, bro, I feel lost without it. Like from August to middle of February, I'm lost because my true passion is to reach as many kids as I can reach, and the one way I can reach them is through the game of basketball.
Right.
And I'd have to tell them all the time, and I stick with this. I don't have no shiny trinkets and baubles to give you.
Right.
But I use the basketball because they like basketball. I use the basketball to get them around me so that I can give them some life lessons.
Right.
Drop the little bit of knowledge that I have on them to try to help their path be smoother than the path that they appear to be on at the moment. Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing that I did that did start happening around the time that they was in the 8th grade is one thing you must admit, my coaching style is most definitely different. And
we hear you before we see you. Always.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
exactly. And you hear me even when you can't see me.
There you go. There you go, man.
And
that's Rowe in there hollering.
My in the 8th grade, when they was in the 8th grade, white people started bringing their kids to me But Champions was open back then,
Yes,
and we
sir.
ran Champions. The
Man.
Soldiers ran Champions.
Dude, it was like what 4 different gyms in there?
Yeah.
It used to be popping every week.
And we won every league every year. And white people would start coming out the stand. This is when I knew I wasn't crazy, because people was always saying, that man's crazy, that man's crazy. Mm-hmm. But I knew I wasn't crazy. It's just that I was doing it by myself.
Right.
Y'all had 3 bona fide men. I'm not going to call them coaches. Y'all had 3 strong men.
Yeah.
That
and it made a difference.
Y'all had to listen to all 3 of them. And if one didn't see what you was doing, the other one saw what you was doing.
Oh, yeah. You wasn't falling through the cracks.
And they wasn't me to the point that if you was a true troubled youth, they didn't deal with that. If you acted like you didn't want to be there or you didn't appreciate what they was doing, they'd let you go. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't run you off.
No.
I'm not putting that on them, because they put in the time just like I put in the time.
Yeah.
It just seemed like I gravitated to the ones that needed something well beyond basketball.
Yeah.
And it was just me. So until Tony joined up with me,
Right. As far back as I can remember, he was there, but there was a short period of time in the early part.
Yeah, in the early part, he wasn't there. He didn't come until Lil Tony was a 5th grader. That's when I picked up Lil Tony. He was a 5th grader.
Right.
And Dominique and them was in the 7th grade by this time. Mm-hmm. And then even when he first came, he was coming to watch his son, but I saw that he was coming faithfully.
Right.
I let him sit on the bench at first, and then I'm like, man, that's your son. Would you like to coach that team?
Right.
And so he took that team over, and which did a lot for me, because it allowed me to focus on Dominique's team. Was always my main team.
Yeah, and that was the first one, right? So it was the original.
Yeah, they was the OG Soldiers. And at one time I had 17s going at once, including girls,
I never knew that you coached girls, man. And that was on this list for me to ask you, man.
I did. I coached Carmisha. She called herself Boss Chick now. I had Amber.
Golly.
I had Mercedes.
Okay.
That played for East Central. Mm-hmm. I had a girls team. They was pretty good, know. And the crazy thing about it was, people were like, you can't talk to them like that. They girls. I'm like, no, they basketball players. And I only know one way to coach. Yep. So if you want to play, my spiel to this very day is, you can play for me. The only thing you got to do is be able to deal with me.
Is it?
Because my style is different, and sometimes I'm yelling at kids that nobody else don't yell at. Mm-hmm. That take Billy Ray, for instance. Billy Ray, nobody could talk to Billy Ray like I talk to Billy Ray.
Yeah. He was one of them type of kids, man. He wasn't just gonna have that from everybody.
No, he wasn't having it from me at first,
Right.
But he understood that anything I said, I said with love.
Right.
And I think what really separate me, especially today, not so much back then, because back then Derek, Lester, Mike Gilliam, Buck, much as I can't stand this man, the dude that coached the Hoosiers, I couldn't stand him.
Oh man, I can't call his name.
Kurt Stokes.
Yes. There you go.
I couldn't stand him, but we was all the kind of coaches that if you need to be gotten on to, you knew it was coming, Mm-hmm. I just had the biggest voice out of everybody.
There you go.
I was probably the smallest out of everybody.
yeah, probably that too.
And then also people kind of thought I was hot-headed, but they didn't understand that when I'm arguing with another coach or the referee, I'm the only person here to defend my players. Yeah. I don't have no parents sitting over there on the other side.
No, you brought all the cats in the van.
In my van, in my truck, in my car, whatever we was doing, I'm hauling all of them. Not only that, I'm feeding all of them.
Yep.
And they probably all spent the night at my house the day before. Actually, my wife told me one time, and Alex never let me live this down. He just said it to me last week. My wife told me Supreme Court gonna make us get a divorce.
Yep.
And he still teased me about that today.
He told me that story. I'm telling you, man, Alex Cherry probably got some of the best Coach Rowe Supreme Court soldier stories ever, man. But I can tell you, I'm asking you, do you remember Will Creekmore?
Yeah.
His dad said something to me some years ago, man. And I've never forgotten it, but we've never really gotten to sit down like this, and so I could tell it to you. He was like, man, he said, well, one thing I'll tell you about Coach Rowe. I used to think he was crazy. I used to think he was all the way ignorant. But I got a ton of respect for that dude because he gave them kids literally the shirt off his back.
Yeah.
And them cats I would watch them melt down, act a fool, quit on you, walk out the gym, and sometimes you'll have to put them out the gym. You know what I mean? And finish the game with just enough to play a game. And then you know what though? That same kid will be out there swearing up and down what he gonna do out there heated with his shirt off, swinging in the air, whatever. And you'll walk right out there after the game, win or lose. Have about like a 30, 45-minute conversation with the squad.
Yeah.
Put them all in your truck or your van, and then we roll on. And then the next day, y'all at it again. Y'all back out there coaching. I didn't say that just for laughs, but I think a lot of those kids that, like you just said, they needed it, man. And I think you did a hell of a job of, taking your ego out of it. And even though you probably was like, man, I gotta cut this kid right now. But if you cut him, you knew what the alternative was.
I never kicked nobody off my team.
I believe it.
To this day, I tell them, I say, I don't have to kick you off my team. I just don't come by your house when I'm picking people up.
There you go.
Because your parents are not going to bring you.
Right.
But I don't stop going to get people. I put in maximum effort to help them, even when they don't know they need the help.
That's right.
I put in the maximum effort to try to help them be all they can be.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them, no doubt, fall to the wayside because some of them are not going to let, not just me, but they think they grown already to the point that I don't have to take this from anybody.
Yeah,
but when you quit, you're not hurting me. You're hurting you. Because now I'm the only person in your life that's trying to give you a sense of direction, and you don't want it, so you go on over here and you do your own thing, So it has been, it will be to the day I die, or at least the day I can't do this no more. It has never really been about basketball. It's only about basketball when it's game time.
Right.
But when it's not game time, it's about the little jabs and pieces of lessons that I can give you to help you hopefully see the light, and actually for most of them, even make them see that, it is something else out there if I'm willing to do what it takes to go get it.
There you go.
So it's never really been about basketball for me, other than when it's time to play basketball, it ain't about nothing else.
Yeah.
But when it's not basketball, this is why most of them love me so much. Is I'm one of the biggest clowns you gonna meet.
Yeah.
You know how people rag on each other. I don't know what y'all call it, playing the dozens or whatever.
Roasting, rag. You know what I mean? We came up doing that.
I allow them to talk about me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna talk right back about you.
Back.
And the good thing about that is the crew I had back then would roast me all the time. Mm-hmm. But I roast them back.
There you go.
So the ones that try to roast me now, when they start talking, I'll be like, let me tell you now. I've been doing this for a long time. So my repertoire is much larger than yours.
Right.
And be prepared to get it back as good as you give it.
Yeah,
so,
don't dish it if you can't take it.
Exactly. and I can take it. Now, maybe there was a time where I couldn't take it, but in order to reach some, you have to be able to give it as good as you have to be able to take it as good as you give it.
No question.
And whether you the coach or not, you have to be willing to hear what that kid got to say. Mm-hmm. It can't be always, I'm the coach, you're gonna do what I say. Right. One thing that stands out in my mind is when I moved to Oklahoma City, I started a team in Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. But Allison, Dominique, and Billy Ray and Wante, they was juniors.
Okay.
They played for me. Yeah, they played for me. Even though I moved to Oklahoma City, I kept them here as a team, and I would call. They was driving by then, and I'll be like, "We got a game in such and such a place." If it was on this side of the state, then I'd come through here, and we'll all go together. If it was on the Oklahoma City side of the state, Dominique or Billy would load them up and bring them to the city, and then we all go together. But I started another team, a high school team now.
Right. Same age group?
Same age group. And I would tell the cats from Oklahoma City, my team from Tulsa will destroy y'all. And they would take it personal. And I guess anybody would if they thought they was a warrior, you know.
Yeah, and they should.
And then they saw my team from Tulsa. Elliotte was my tallest player.
Right.
He was the tallest out of the four.
Yeah,
and
like
at the
6'2",
time,
3 maybe?
At the time, he might have been 6'2". He looked taller now than he was then.
Yeah.
But he could jump out the gym.
Right, he's always been an athlete.
Now, the dudes I picked up on the other side, I had 6'6", 6'7", 6'8".
Right.
I had some big dudes. But they guard played.
Missing guard already in the game now.
Yeah,
sure.
they guard played. I didn't have nothing but guards. I had Billy Ray and Wante that could shoot the ball from anywhere. I had Dominique who could take anybody to the goal. I had Alex that was a combo guard that, you know, he could take you outside or he could swoop right past you and dunk on you, you know. So we actually went to Springfield, Missouri. And I took them as two separate teams.
Right.
And we ended up playing each other.
Uh-oh. So who coaching who?
I had this cat he was from Texas. He happened to be white. Not that means anything, you know, but he, even in Oklahoma City when he was supposed to be helping me, he always felt like he knew better than I did, you know.
I got you.
So I let him coach the Oklahoma City team in that tournament. They first game, man, they got beat by about 70.
Dang.
We had to play that same team the next day.
Your Tulsa team.
Yeah.
Right.
We had to play that same team the next day. They beat us by 1. But
dogfight.
But make no mistake about it, they wouldn't have won except I had Mark. I only had them 4 players and Mark Moncrief. I only took 5 players. Mark got kicked out.
Yeah, that sounds
The
like
game we lost by 1, he got kicked out of the game. So we played most of the second half with 4 players.
4 players.
And lost by 1 to a team that y'all lost to by 70.
Right.
And then we had to play out the other soldiers, the Oklahoma City soldiers. We had to play them that night.
Right.
And I'm hyped. I'm ready, you know.
Exactly. You got a point to prove.
They come out, man. They was smashing us 17-2.
Ooh, your Oklahoma City bunch, huh?
My Oklahoma City team was killing us.
Rolling y'all up.
I'm on the bench. I'm heated.
Yeah, you are.
And I called timeout, and I started going off on the Tulsa squad, right? And I'll never forget it. Alex put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Coach, we got it. Don't worry about it." He was calm, cool, and in my mind, I'm like, man, I've been talking noise to these cats all this time, and y'all gonna lay down like this and make me look crazy?
Yeah.
He put his hand on my shoulder. He said, "Coach, we got it, man. We'll play." And before you know it, the score was 25-17.
Y'all.
They hadn't scored another point.
See?
And then after we got up on them like that, they started trying to fight. Now, we done all rolled down here in the same cars together and everything.
Yeah.
But the Oklahoma City cats want to fight the Tulsa cats.
Right.
And the refs happened to be from Tulsa.
Right.
And it was the twins. I think they Mark's uncles or something.
Yeah, dad.
And they said, we don't need to finish this game. And they called the game. Because it really didn't mean nothing. You know, first day don't mean nothing. It's what you do on Sunday that matters. So they called the game. We all go back to the hotel. They kick it and have fun and everything. But the Oklahoma City team understood.
Right.
I wasn't just talking noise to y'all.
Yeah.
But the point is, I've had these cats for a while, and they've bought into what I'm selling.
Yeah.
And
they got some chemistry, too.
Yeah, they had chemistry. Everybody knew what everybody did. And everybody got to do what they do best. But what we did better than anybody was play defense.
There you go.
Because everything I do to this day is predicated on defense. I don't even run no offense.
Right. Yeah.
I don't.
You gotta let them
like,
they gotta learn how to play.
Man, if you know how to play, you don't need to run a play. That's how I teach it, you know. Yeah. So, but now, I'll tell you something that's crazy. This year,
right.
My team gonna be almost all white.
How about that? Look at you coming.
Nobody, and it's not because I dropped the black kids. Yeah. It's because what's coming back from last year that didn't graduate, They all white. They white and Indian.
There you go.
And then none of them from Tulsa.
Uh,
I went from strictly north side Tulsa
you didn't expand it.
to Pawnee, Glencoe, Collinsville, Sand Springs, Berry Hill. They coming to me though. I'm not going out recruit. I never ever really recruit people. Now I go to a game and give you a pitch like if you would like to play, I have a spot for you.
Yeah.
But I don't actively go out and try to find the best basketball players I can find.
A lot of times those guys are taken anyway. You know
True.
what I mean? Because people done thrown, they done the song and dance to get them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And what they do after that, who knows?
Know what makes it fun for me?
What's that?
Beating them.
There you go. The underdog.
I had a team a couple of years back. They was the most. They made Billy Ray look malmannered, bro.
Really?
When I would take them out of town to a tournament, I wasn't worried about winning the tournament. I was worried about, am I going to be able to return home with everybody who left here with me? Because I'm thinking somebody going to be in jail before we come back. Because every time I stop at a store, they bum rush the store and rob the store. I'm preaching against it, but I can't truly stop you.
The only way you can stop them is don't bring them no more.
Don't bring them. And we was 58-3.
Yeah.
And then was going to win nationals.
Right.
Then I saw the craziest time in all the years that I've been doing this, and it's been 25 plus years. One of my own players slapped the ref.
Jeez.
And we got kicked out.
Oh, yeah, you sure gonna get kicked out.
Yeah, we done. And when he slapped him, he tried to run out the gym.
Oh,
I was like, Coach, we gotta go. I said, ain't no need to rushing out of here.
Oh, man.
I said, I said, either they gonna stop us at the door or they gonna stop us down the street.
Either way.
But he ain't gonna get away with that. Ain't no black kid gonna slap no white man in Kansas and just walk off.
It ain't gonna happen.
So by the time I get up to the top, police already there. They're already handcuffing him, putting him in the car.
Golly.
Crazy.
So, how you get back to Tulsa with this one?
The crazy thing about it, man, we went to the same school. This is the second year in a row that we had played most of our games at this school. We always came to the school from the right side of the school.
Right.
Never had a reason to drive past the school.
Right.
Because the gym was on the right side of the school. So when we pull up, we go in the parking lot, we go in the gym. If we'd have ever drove past the school, the very next building past the school is the police station. So that's how they got there so fast. And I was going to leave him in Kansas. And they said, Coach, they said he'd be out in 45 minutes. I said, excuse my language. I said, ain't no way in hell. He going to be out in 45 minutes. They said, Coach, you got to wait for him. I said, I'll tell you what.
Who's this telling you got to wait for him?
The other players.
Oh, okay.
Because, they're all homeboys.
Yeah, no question. No question. Makes sense.
I said, I tell you what, I'm going to give him 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, my job is to get y'all home safe. It's not to wait on somebody who wants to do something so ignorant. 45 minutes, he come running out the door, they let him go. He had a court case he had to go back for.
Oh, yeah.
But they actually let him go in 45 minutes, and we drove home. That was they did last year with me, though. But I want to say I hate to say this because my son played earlier than they did, But that's probably the best team I ever had.
Yeah?
Yeah, but nobody wanted us to play anywhere because everywhere we went, we could be winning by 20, and my team would still be trying to fight the other kids. I'm like, man, what? The best way you can, well, Coach, they talking noise. Any true sports person know. The best way to shut somebody up is have them look at that scoreboard at the end of the game. If they talking mad noise and at the end of the game they lost, you don't got to say nothing to them. That scoreboard doing all the talking need to be said.
That's right, man.
And I'm telling you, when I say we was 58-3, we lost them 3 games in the first 2 tournaments we played.
Yeah, so you got nothing but better after that.
We went on. We was good then. The reason we lost one game, the first game we played that year, we lost. We was in Joplin. And we should have beat the team, but I wasn't mad about it. It's the first game of the season, and we can redeem ourselves tomorrow. You know, as long as we walk away with this trophy, it don't matter that we lost today. We number 2 seed. The team that beat us is the number 1 seed.
Going in the bracket play?
Going in the bracket play. But since they had beat us on Saturday, they didn't want us. They knew it was going to end up us and them in the championship. So they put us on the same side of the bracket as them. Now, when does that ever happen that 1 and 2 on the same side of the bracket?
It's never supposed to be one play.
They put us against them. We went 4 overtimes. We beat them.
Right.
Had 5 minutes to walk from this gym to this gym. We got over there. About the other team was playing at the same time we was playing, but 4 overtimes equaled a whole another half of basketball.
Right.
So they sitting over there resting, waiting for us. We go over to the big court, Southwest Missouri State or Missouri State, whatever it is, in Joplin. We go to their main court.
Right.
We winning. This first half, we up 36-6.
36-6?
We winning.
Is this the championship game, man?
Championship, bro.
Golly, man. You sure y'all ain't playing no bums, man?
We was playing SEK, Kansas. We winning 36-6. I had one dude coming to the bench. I only got 6 players.
Right.
No, I had 7 players. But we basically was playing Ironman basketball. So I'm trying to rest their legs. I'm shuffling them in and out because we just played 4 overtime game, hard-fought game. But we up 36-6, so I'm shuffling people in and out. I got one dude on the bench. I'm not going to call no names this time.
All right.
I got one dude on the bench. I got probably what I would call my star player. I'm bringing him out, letting him get a breather. Actually, these 2 people would be my stars if I had stars, you know. Right. I don't designate anybody stars. If you're a star, it's because other people are telling you, not because I'm telling you or you're telling me. Your play dictates you're that good. Okay. Like LeBron, you know. So as one is coming out, the one on the bench goes, F you. And the one coming out is yelling, F you. We up 36-6 in the championship. First half.
F-bombs flying all over the place and y'all up 30.
I get up. I can't take it no more. I walk back. We get a tech because they about to fight each other. I don't even know what's going on. We winning this championship. I walk across the court and I tell the ref, I say, call the game, man. And he
just like that?
Yeah, he looks at the clock. He said, are you sure, coach? I said, man, this is embarrassing. So mine is sitting on the other side of the court because his team had just played. He said, I'll coach him. I went outside and sat in the van. I did not go back in the gym. How you up 36-6 and you lose?
That's what happened. Huh?
That's what happened. Because they was acting ignorant with each other.
Yeah.
But those was 2 of the losses that we had. And then in the next tournament, we lost 1 game, but it was because they didn't try hard.
Right.
We won the second tournament, and every tournament we played after that until Nationals.
Man.
Did not lose another game. And they still didn't understand that almost everybody on that team, I had 5'7" dude that could go up, put the ball on his leg and dunk it, man. Almost everybody on that team should have went to college. Nobody did.
Nobody did. None of them went to college as students, or none of them went to college to go play ball.
Some of them went to be students.
Okay.
Let me change that up. None of the seniors that graduated that year went to college, period. Actually, one did. And the crazy thing about that one, straight A student, my whole squad was pretty much from McLean.
Okay.
And then I added like 3 cats from Coffeyville. The best student, one of the best players, and I am going to say his name, is Quentin Nails.
Okay.
Do you know Quentin?
No, I don't know him.
I'm going to tell you how you do know him.
I've heard the name, but I've never...
Tell you how you heard his name.
Okay.
This dude got a full ride football scholarship to NEO.
Right.
The year he went to NEO, he's the only freshman start on defense. After football was over, he came home. He finished the year. He went the whole school year. The next year, he don't go back to school.
At all.
Because lack of focus. Now he wants to be a super thug. These people are calling him, begging him to come back to school. And the thing about it, the only reason he went to NEO is because OU's linebacker core was full. You know how a school will hire the kid out and have plans for him later? He was to finish at NEO, go to OU. He was pro material, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Couldn't stay focused long enough.
Decided he didn't want to go back to school, just got sentenced to 20 years in jail, in prison. Because he was going around robbing people.
Man, that transitions me to one of the... I got 3 more questions I'm going to throw at you. The one that I want to ask you, man, as a competitor, you know, we want to... Just like we want to win every game, we want to save every kid. But we know, realistically, you can't do that.
Can't.
How do you deal with some of the players from your program that ended up in the grave or ended up behind the wall? How do you... Man, and how you deal with that, man?
I've had a couple of players pass. They was probably, I ain't going to say pass, because pass lets you think it was some kind of natural cause. I've had a couple of players get shot and killed. The 2 that really bothers me the most, they still alive. One is Billy Ray. He doing 59. And one is Quentin. Because both of them, they didn't have to be there. Because Billy Ray, believe it or not, had really good grades. He was a knucklehead, but Billy Ray was...
He wasn't a dummy, though.
He was in the top 10 in his class at Rogers. He had good grades. He just didn't have good sense.
Yeah.
You know, but he had good grades. He had good family. You know,
I remember his mother and his aunt, man.
No, that was his grandmama.
Okay, his mother and his grandmother, man. They were supporters, man.
Big time.
They were always there. I remember
Big time supporters. He didn't want for nothing. He was probably the first kid to get a car, that truck. You know, had anything and everything he wanted. His mom went out of her way for him. But I don't want to get off track.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you how I deal with it. It hurts. It for real hurts, because when you put in the time and effort and stuff like that, you coach, you're going to know this when I said they become more than just basketball players to you. You become, even at your young age, you are somewhat of a father figure to your players, you know, and in a way, they become like sons to you or daughters, whichever one you coaching. They become like your own kids, and when things don't go well for them, you know, sometimes you ask yourself, where did you go wrong?
Absolutely.
But the one thing that most of the time I'm able to say is that I know I did all I could do for you.
Yeah.
And since I can walk away saying I know I did all that I could do for them, that's probably what helps me deal with them, even though from time to time, man, Billy Ray just pop in my head, because I love that dude like he's my own son. I don't know how close you watch my Facebook page, but one day I was talking to Dominique on Facebook back and forth, but it was in a public conversation.
On the wall.
And, and Billy Ray said, what about your other son? He was talking about himself. And I said, man, you know I love you too. I said, do you need anything? What you need? He said, all I need is for you to tell me you love me. And I said, you know I love you. I said, anything else you need that I can do, I'm going to do for you, you know. But that's how I deal with it, just being able to walk away from it and say, it's just like dealing with one of your own personal kids. I don't know, you don't have no kids yet, huh?
I don't. I'm still watching the game from the sideline.
Okay, well, you stay on the sideline until you're ready to get in the game.
All
you
right,
know what I'm
all
saying?
right. I don't know if I'm ready to go 8 deep like you, man.
No, you don't want to do that.
All right,
and
all right.
You know what? If you get in the game, stick with the same team.
I got you. Man, that's a mic drop moment right there. For real.
Some people gonna miss that, but you understand what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying. Now I'm gonna put you maybe in a tougher position on this next one right here. And this one is just straight basketball. You've had a bunch of teams, you've had a bunch of players, you've had a bunch of just good athletes. If you can narrow it down to one, in your estimation, who is the best player that you think to come through your organization? Ooh. Best player that you've gotten to coach?
Can I add something to that?
Go ahead, man.
The best player besides my son.
Best player besides Dominique? Okay.
Besides my son,
All
because I think he was amazing.
Okay.
Honestly, I really think Dominique was amazing for his size and the amount of heart that he showed and the way he played. He's amazing to me.
Yeah, he was definitely a dog, man.
But the best player to come through my program, and I don't mean to hurt no feelings, I would have to narrow it down to two people.
Okay.
And then I'm going to tell you which one is the better of them two, and I'm going to tell you why.
All right, going to give me the finalists first. Okay.
Devin Ferguson.
Okay.
Do you know Devin?
I don't know Devin.
You've heard his name?
I've heard his name. I can't put a face
Devin
on it.
The reason you can't put a face with him because he never really played high school basketball.
Okay.
He went to Central first. Got in a fight or something. Never got to play again at Central. Transferred to McLean. Was so good. A couple of years back, Central played McLean in the final game for the championship.
Right.
Central won.
Right.
The only reason Central won is because Central knew how good Devin was.
Right.
And even though he went to McLean the year before he tried to play his senior year, Central put up a fight. They did not want Devin playing.
Oh, it went down like that. Huh?
Devin was the best player in this state, bro.
Just like that.
He could look you right in your eye. You know how the kind of house Prentice got.
True.
Devin's 6'5".
With those.
Jumping like that.
Athlete,
Devin is the kind of person that I could say, Devin, quit waiting till you by yourself to dunk, man. As high as you jumping, you can go right up and just look them right in their face and dunk on them. I tell them, if you was in Chicago or New York or Florida or Detroit, people that can jump like you jump, they not worried about getting their shot blocked. They trying to embarrass somebody.
You're going to put it on your head, man.
So Devin, to me, was the best player in the state his senior year.
Right. So that's one of the two best.
That's one of the two
that you got to coach. Okay.
The other one, I would, besides Dominique, was Alex.
Alex Cherry. Huh?
And I think Alex.
You say him.
Alex was amazing, man, because he wasn't that tall.
Right.
And quick story. We went down to the Sooner State games. We was freshmen. Blake was a freshman. Blake Griffin.
Right.
No. We were sophomores.
Yep, but he was in the same grade.
Blake was a sophomore. Blake's brother, Taylor, was a senior. He was OU's #1 recruit that year. But we, on the Oklahoma City, on the Tulsa side, you don't really know the Oklahoma City players, no matter how big a name they got, unless you go to a tournament that they in. But you know me, I was doing all I could. I put us in whatever tournaments I could put us in. I wasn't going to all the big time stuff,
Yeah.
So we finally go down to Oklahoma City as sophomores, but when we go down there, we got to play. I was so late getting the entry fee in that I told them we'll play the high school bracket. Don't matter to me. I just want my kids to play. So we played up to the junior senior level.
Right.
This dude is dunking on us like crazy, boy. I'm like, and I'm like, man, who is that? And then somebody said, you don't know who that is? I said, no. They said, it's Taylor Griffin. He's OU's #1 recruit.
Right.
It was clear they was gonna beat us, because we didn't have no size.
Right. And you're younger.
Yeah, we younger.
Younger, smaller.
With no size. And but I call a timeout and I say to Alex, Alex, you know who that is right there? He said, no, coach. I said, that's Taylor Griffin. I said, Blake didn't have a name at this time. Taylor was the man.
Right.
But they was both tall. I said, Alex, all I need you to do is dunk on him, bro. Just dunk on him. It's a true story. Alex it wasn't a true breakaway because they was back already.
Right.
But he shook somebody up top, went down the middle, and rose up and stretched out. And Blake and Taylor was side by side. One jumped with his right hand, one jumped with his left hand. to block Alex's shot. But Alex is going towards goal. He's stretched out like this. And even though he was only about 6'2", he was long.
Yeah.
He was long built.
Long
you
and
know?
lanky.
And he stretched out. And when he got to their hands, he pulled that ball down and hunched down like this and kind of went between them, then stretched out again and said, wham!
Threw it down.
The
like
gym went crazy, dude. They was like, who is that? Who is that?
He got the chance, huh?
They don't even know us from nobody, but
Right.
they start chanting, who is that?
Right.
Nobody could believe what he had just done to the Griffin brothers, man. And I truly believe if Alex, I hate to say this, but if he had had the opportunity to play on a team that people truly respected and had a name for itself, he could be playing on Sundays right now. I really believe that with all my heart. He had the ball handling skills. He could shoot a little bit. He could jump out the gym, and he was coachable. And I don't think I stunted his growth, but I think if he could have played for, even y'all's name was bigger than our name, you know what I'm saying? Or PWP had came around at that time. Well, they was a year away. But when PWP came into existence, if he could have played for PWP or the Hoosiers or some of these teams that had names already for themselves, he could have went the distance, man. So my overall number one pick to ever have coached, besides my son, is hands down is Alex, because the difference between Alex and Devin is Alex was coachable. Devin was not coachable. He's just, to me, his attitude was 10 times worse than Billy Ray, and that's saying something.
Saying a whole lot if you know him.
But Alex, he's the best player. As a matter of fact, our senior year, back then, I told, in front of my son, I said, Alex, I always told y'all Dominique the best player on this team. I said, but bro, we're going to hand it off to you now. You the best player over here. And I don't know if I hurt my son's feelings when I said that, because that's kind of hard to hear from your own dad, you know. But I think Dominique understood it, because Dominique was like 5'6", 5'7", and Alex is 6'2", jumping at the gym. So he could do some things you can't do, son. I'm sorry, you know. But your mama's 4'10", and I'm 5'10", and
there you go.
If you had got taller than me, I would have had some questions for your mama.
There you go. Yeah, we gotta have some conversation. I feel it. But that's a bold statement for you to say that about Alex like that, man. And talking about you were able to take yourself out of the deal and say that if he were to play somewhere for somebody else,
without a doubt,
turned out differently in a good way, man. I think that's some
because they could have put him on stages that I wasn't capable of putting him on. That was the difference. They could have put him on the stage. A real quick story. I know I'm burning time for you, but we went to their senior year. It was the last tournament we played before we went to nationals. I took them all to Pensacola, Florida.
There you go.
That was the farthest we had been, you know. Yeah. And we had rode all night, bro.
You the only one driving?
No, it was 3 cars. Okay. Billy Ray and Alex drove one.
Oh man.
I drove one, and then the white dude from Oklahoma City took his car, but Dominique drove his car.
Gotcha.
Tony went too.
All right.
But me and Tony was actually supposed to drive the truck that Alex and Billy and them was driving, but since they was old enough to drive, you know, they had to stay right behind me. But we all rolling, and that allowed them to be in the car and have a camaraderie where they could joke and talk in a map without having to worry about what we gonna say or how we gonna react.
Right.
But we played this team from Atlanta. They had like 3 or 4 teams down there, different ages. They had 2 charter buses.
You talking about the Atlanta Celtics, maybe?
I don't remember their name, bro. But they was from Atlanta. Everybody, when you're from Oklahoma, I don't know if y'all ever experienced it, but when you're from Oklahoma, you go play somewhere, they be thinking, hey, just from Oklahoma. Like, we don't matter, you know?
I know what you mean.
So they got a gym full of people. Right. I took 17 cats to play, but I really took them
to get the experience.
To get the experience and see what Florida was like, you
That's
know.
right.
And I was able to do it this particular time. So we go down there. We lose our first game. Second game, we playing that night. We playing this Atlanta team, and the gym is full. But everybody in there is Atlanta, except for the 20 of us that's over here.
Right.
17 players, 3 coaches.
Right.
We throw the ball in. Alex goes down. He by himself. Wham! He dunks the ball. Right. They get the ball. They kick it in to their best player. He comes down, shoots the try. When Alex dunks, of course our team, you know, they fired up, you know, making noise. They come back down the court. They shoot a 3.
Bam.
Goes in.
Making noise.
The gym go crazy, you know. But while they celebrating, we take the ball, kick it back in. Alex ain't made it past half court yet.
Yeah, he back there cherry picking.
So he ain't cherry picking. He coming back, but they came back so fast and shot the trade that he hadn't got in yet. And you know us, we fast motion playing. So we get it out, we kick it into Alex. Alex go back down. He raise up on him. It's a dude trying to chase him down, but Alex go up, bam, he dunks it again. Our team go nuts. They come back down. They shoot another tray real quick. Like they trying to shut us up. They missed the tray. We get the rebound. Alex ain't made it back yet.
Don't tell me.
We kick it back out to Alex, but it's a dude out there by Alex this time. He tried to jump with Alex. This time Alex raised up on him in 2 hands.
With 2, huh?
Wham! He dunks the ball, and the dude tried to undercut him.
Yeah.
So when he undercut him, Alex just held on to the rim. His body swings like this.
Yeah.
He drops to the ground.
He didn't get take, did he?
No, because he had to protect himself.
Got you.
But when he dropped to the ground, this is all he did. He said, hey, man, don't do that. Somebody could get hurt. Just nice, nonchalant. Yeah. The dude balls his fist up, man, and runs up on Alex.
Yeah.
Like, look, see here, homie, ain't going to be no more dunking in this game like that. I never seen nothing like it in my life, man. Every fan, every man, every woman, every child that came with them on them buses, they grabbed mop buckets, mops, brooms, anything they could grab. And everybody that came with them rushed Alex.
Damn.
And when they rushed Alex, of course, my team, you know, because they not realizing my team would rather fight than play ball.
Yeah,
you know, y'all, you want to fight, you talking our language now, you know. But I came to play ball. Right. So my team rush out there and they get around Alex and they like, who wants something, you know? Right. No blows get thrown or nothing like that. Right. Yeah, and the man that's running the tournament is there. Why they kick us both out?
They kick both teams out.
Yeah, we ain't done nothing but get around our player and try to protect him from all these people, man. And so I'm in the gym. You know, Billy Ray's kind of an enforcer type. Yeah. I'm in the gym. Billy Ray, Dominique's walking around with 2 basketballs like this. They outside. I'm pleading our case as to why we shouldn't be kicked out because we ain't done nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. They want to kick us out because we about to take that trophy home. Mm-hmm. And the man, one of their coaches out there, arguing with Billy Ray. And he said, man, I'm a grown man, little boy. Like that. And Billy Ray said, I'm a grown man too. You can't be talking to me like that. So the man say one word too many. And Dominique is standing there with the balls under his arms, trying to get Billy to come back. That man said one more thing. Billy Ray just snatched that ball from under that man's arms. Just busting right in his face with it.
Golly.
Then the police.
Yeah, y'all got to go now.
I'm standing in the gym, bro. All I see is this. Shoo, 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 shoo. Oh, yeah. Police cars just flying up in there.
And you know, man, what my boys done done.
And I'm like, what's going on? You know? And I get outside. They trying to arrest Billy this late time. We want to press charges against him. Luckily, they was good police officers. Mm-hmm. The man said, ma'am, are you sure that's what you want to do? Because I'm sure if you press charges against him, they're going to want to press charges against somebody on your team. All I really need to know is it over? I said, oh, man, it's over. We done. We out of here, you know. But it turned out to be a good thing because since we didn't have to play the next day, I took him to the beach.
You got to enjoy Florida.
Yeah, the first time some of them ever been to a beach.
See, that's what it's about, man. That's what you did was
it turned out all right, man.
Last question. When you going to call it quits, man? You've been doing it for a long time. You didn't care. You gonna keep going?
I'm on coach until I can't, because like I said before, it just really ain't about. When it's time to play, I want to win.
Absolutely.
But I think this is my contribution to society, is to, through the game of basketball, help them see that there's something else out there. Because, like I told you on the phone, it really bugs me that most of these young black people, and I have to say black, but it's been stretched outside of our community now. It's a lot of white people living the same way, Indians, Mexicans. Young people don't see they not feeling no hope. They not. It's like there's no tomorrow type thing.
Everything's right now.
Yeah, they live for today, and they not thinking about tomorrow. And even though the Bible says, and it's a true statement, I learned it the hard way, tomorrow's not promised, you should still plan on being there. And so I'm just trying to do my part to help them focus, help them see that there is something else out there if you want it bad enough, if you want to jump through the hoops that you got to jump through in order to achieve what you say is your goal. Through the game of basketball, I don't expect everybody I coach to be a pro basketball player.
Right.
I don't expect everybody I coach to even go to college and play basketball. But I do expect them to not be able to look back and say, did nobody try to help me?
Right.
Because that would be a lie. And I'm about more than basketball unless it's time to play basketball. When it's time to play basketball, I don't care about nothing else. Once it's game time, I still use this to this very day. I said, if your house is on fire, when I come to get you, and you get in this car, and you go to this tournament, I don't want to discuss your house burning till we're on the way back. Because it's time to focus on basketball. And I mean that as far as anything going on in your life, you need to learn how to tune stuff out and focus on what it is you say you want to do. And that's just how it is. And I try to do that through the game of basketball. So until I can't talk no more, till I can't walk no more, pretty much till they throw dirt on me. This is what I don't think I chose to do this. I really think I was chosen to do what I do.
This is what you're made for. Huh?
This was my life's mission, and a lot of people go through life, they don't even know. A lot of people go through life and never figure out their mission, their mission. But my mission is to help all that I can help. And this is my way of helping. This is my way of pulling some of them up by the bootstraps and saying, hey, let's do this. And through doing this, maybe you can do this. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't going to never quit until I can't do it. And even if I end up not coaching no more, I can look down my tree and I see people that was under me, like Wante, he doing big things.
He is out there in the city, man.
Mine doing big things. Dominique doing big things.
I've been following all three of them.
DJ Birmingham, this TC Carter. You can just look down the tree and they all, at some point in time, did play for me.
Right.
Even though DJ didn't have to play for me, he was really a bulldog no matter what.
No doubt.
But he put on that soldier uniform before, you know. That's why I say I don't know how you slipped through the crack. Because I can't remember you ever actually playing with us.
No, I didn't.
But just about everybody that from back in the day, at some point in time, they was never true soldier team members, other than the fact that once you put that jersey on, once a soldier, always a soldier. You can always come back over here anytime you want to. But even when I can't do it, I'm still doing it because they doing it.
There you go.
So
that's what I'm talking about.
I'm never going to stop until I can't.
No doubt. and I salute everything you've been doing for years. And I'm looking forward to the great things you got brewing and what's to come. And we appreciate y'all who took time to sit here and listen to us. It's me, your host, Aaron Daniels, and I got Coach Melvin Elliotte Rowe right here. You know what I mean? I got all the names right. This is Sports Speak Podcast, and we'll holler at y'all soon.